Thanks, Katie and Tanner. I almost felt like I was watching the pros on Thursday night.
We'll have more on that Rutgers-Iowa showdown coming up, but first to women's hoops.
It was almost the complete opposite for Iowa women's basketball this weekend as they concluded their Big Ten road schedule.
Saturday night, the Hawkeyes faced Ohio State for the second time this season, but this time they fell short 100-82.
This is what head coach Lisa Bluter thought after the loss on the road.
It's a crazy league. I mean, it's just so good. It's so good, and we should be sending 7 or 8 from this league to the tournament, definitely. But we're just coming in here and beating everybody up. I'd love to see us go back to 16 games just because of this, but at the same time, they're not going to, I don't think.
It wasn't all bad as Sam Logic moved to third overall in the Big Ten with assists. But with the Hawkeyes losing that game, it means that Maryland clinches the regular Big Ten season crown.
Iowa finishes up their regular Big Ten season with 2 home games inside Carver Hawkeye Arena this upcoming week against Wisconsin and Minnesota.
On the other hand, the men's team looked like a completely different team this past Thursday.
That's right, it was a completely different team, plus Adam Woodbury wasn't poking eyeballs out, instead dunking the ball. Woodbury
was dunking, Aaron White was throwing it down, and even Gabe Olszewski had a dunk of his own.
It wasn't just an explosive offense, though, it was defense as well.
I was courtside at Carver Hawkeye Arena, where the Hawks seemed to be heading in the right direction. A big question for Hawkeye men's hoops was how they were going to snap a tough 2-game losing streak. But when the team took center court Thursday night against Rutgers, it turned into a game of activity.
This guy was activity. Was it picture perfect? Probably not, but there was activity, there was rotations, there was ball pressure.
Not only did the defensive game meet the challenge, but offensively, 4 Hawkeyes scored in double figures, led by Jared Utoff with 14 points, followed by Aaron White with 13.
And then I was able to get up and finish. I think I made it pretty apparent I was pretty frustrated with how I played last game, finishing around the basket. So maybe I took some of that out on that.
Shooting 50% from the field as a whole played a key part, but reestablishing the inside game became significant when 32 of the Hawkeyes' 81 points came from inside the paint.
I think that's who we are, and you want to kind of do that every game and establish it like you said, and then also mix it up. Some perimeter shooting, some penetration, some post up, some transition, and kind of attack with all of those things in mind.
The defensive and offensive game was in full force as Rutgers committed 19 turnovers, and the Hawkeyes converted those turnovers into buckets.
We made more shots, took better shots. I think our defense, we kind of set the tempo, and we want to play at our game. So, we kind of let them dictate the tempo the other day, and I think we kind of made an example and tried to maintain what we had to do, and we came out strong and just tried to put it on as fast as we could.
The Hawkeyes returned to action on the road earlier today against Nebraska, destroying them 74-46.
Basketball wasn't the only sports team in action this weekend. Hawkeye sports were all over the United States.
Tomorrow, our Whip Around crew will update you on softball, baseball, and women's gymnastics. But quickly, before we wrap things up, we have an update on the national wrestling duels that took place here in Iowa City this weekend.
Missouri handed Iowa their first loss of the season with an 18-12 decision.
Top-ranked Corey Clark, Nick Moore, Mike Evans, and Bobby Telford captured wins, but the team still came up short.
For more on the duels as a whole, check out the recap right here tomorrow night.